Hey everyone, let's talk about something that affects millions of Americans and could have serious consequences: Social Security. And not just Social Security itself, but the massive changes happening right now that could make it a lot harder for people to access their benefits. If you or someone you know relies on Social Security, whether it's for retirement, disability, or survivor benefits, this is something you'll want to pay attention to. And people are already feeling the impact. One person told us they recently tried to schedule an appointment at their local Social Security office and were told the next available date wasn't for another 4 months. Another person said they've been calling the SSA for weeks, only to sit on hold for hours before the call disconnects. And now, some offices are shutting down completely, leaving people with no choice but to figure everything out online, even if they don't have the internet or the tech skills to do so. Before we get into all of that, if you find this kind of content helpful, consider subscribing. It really helps get this information out to more people who might need it. So, what exactly is happening? Well, the Social Security Administration has been ordered to cut its workforce, and this isn't just some minor budget adjustment. We're talking about potentially losing half of all SSA employees. That's tens of thousands of jobs being eliminated from an agency that was already struggling with staffing shortages. Now, here's why this matters. The SSA is responsible for handling benefits for over 72 million Americans. That includes retirees, people with disabilities, and survivors who rely on these payments to cover basic expenses. But even before these cuts, the agency was already stretched thin. People were experiencing long wait times on the phone, months-long delays for applications, and a backlog of disability claims that left some waiting years for approval. And now, with even fewer workers, those delays are only going to get worse. And it's not just a staffing issue. The government is actively shutting down Social Security field offices across multiple states. If you've ever had to go to an SSA office in person, you know how important they are, especially for people who have trouble applying online or need in-person help navigating the system. Now, with these closures, millions of Americans will have no choice but to handle everything online, even if they don't have reliable internet access or the skills to do so. And the irony is, they also just shut down the department that was supposed to be improving the SSA's online system. So, on one hand, they're closing physical offices, forcing more people to go online, but at the same time, they're cutting the very team that was working on making that online experience better. It doesn't add up. The official reason for all of this? Government spending cuts. The administration is calling this an effort to make Social Security more efficient, but in reality, it's making it harder for people to access benefits. And let's be clear, these aren't handouts, this is money that people have paid into the system their entire working lives. They've earned these benefits, and now the system that was built to distribute them is being stripped down to the point where it's barely functional. And another thing, these cuts don't just hurt retirees. They affect people receiving disability benefits too. Right now, the application process for Social Security disability insurance is already brutal. People wait months, sometimes even years, just to get approved. Some even pass away before their claims are processed. Cutting more staff means even longer delays, more denied claims, and more people struggling to get the help they need. And here's what some of you are telling us. Some think these changes are setting up Social Security to fail completely, pushing the idea that it should be privatized. Others think this could become a huge political crisis because if enough people experience delays or don't get their benefits, Congress is going to have to step in. Either way, the people who actually need their benefits the most are the ones stuck in the middle. So, what can you do? First, if you haven't already, create an online Social Security account. Even though the SSA is being stretched thin, having access to your own information is more important than ever. And if you're planning to apply for benefits soon, do it as early as possible because those delays are only going to get worse. And if you're struggling to get through to Social Security, don't be afraid to seek outside help. There are experts, advocacy groups, and even local representatives who can help push things along if you hit a roadblock. The more people who speak up about these problems, the harder they are to ignore. And even if you're not collecting Social Security yet, this still matters. If these cuts continue, the system may not function properly by the time you need it. Social Security isn't just a benefit for today's retirees, it's something that affects all of us, whether we're paying into it now or planning to rely on it later. So, what do you think? Are you worried about these cuts? Have you or someone you know already had trouble getting Social Security benefits? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you found this helpful, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Thanks for watching, and take care.